10 home improvements that add maximum value to your North Texas home. Want to know which home improvements add real value and are not just a huge waste of money? Here are our top 10 tips that buyers actually think add value to your home and bring maximum value.
Before we get started, I'm Holly Haven.
And I'm Andy Haven.
And we are your North Texas real estate team. We are here to guide you all the way through the process, whether you're buying, selling, leasing, or just considering a move.
Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell to be notified for any of our next videos. We post every Friday.
And stay tuned to the end of this video for a really good bonus tip we think you're gonna love.
Let's get started. Fresh paint and light fixtures are going to be one of the most return on investment, generally 100% plus return on investment. It's one of those, it's a cheaper option. You can do light and bright. We do always suggest a lighter, more neutral color. If you do a white, then go ahead and do white throughout. Paint the ceilings white, keep it very light and bright and make the home feel a little bit larger.
Yeah, and really one of the things I want to say is instead of going for that color that you love, you need to go with a trending neutral color for the current time frame.
Yeah, and a good one is generally agreeable gray. That one is very common and very neutral. You can do it on the walls, you can do it on trim. And then white dove is a generally normal white color, but make sure that you're using a white that does not have any color undertones. Right. Make sure we're using a very neutral white. As far as improving light fixtures that also have 100% plus ROI generally, go ahead and change out those old light fixtures. If you have boob lights, and we'll post a picture of what a boob light is here, that is something that we want to go ahead and upgrade. You can do that very cheap from Lowe's, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, Wayfair. Yeah, lots of good options that are cheap and really, really change the vibe of the home.
Yeah, there's no need to spend a lot of money on this, but getting everything to coordinate nicely and feel a little bit more modern. If we have that old world style, and then we paint all the walls this light white, current trending neutral color, it just makes everything feel slightly off.
Yeah.
Next up, we have curb appeal and landscaping. This is such an important thing to focus on. This is your absolute first impression. It is the first thing somebody sees when they drive by with a sign in the yard. It is the first thing they see normally on the MLS photos. This has to grab attention. If the landscaping is completely overgrown, or maybe it needs to be replaced, maybe there's some really, old yucky stuff in there, it's better to pull it out, even do some potted plants, fresh mulch, right? A nice fresh mow and an edger.
Oh my gosh. The one thing that I noticed the second I pull up to a house, if you do not edge your lawn, that is my first impression that you do not keep up anything else in your home. So that is something for buyers that a lot of buyers will notice.
Yeah, and it's just those little details. It makes everything pop. It looks a little more crisp. It looks a little more finished. There's just more details to notice. So making sure that this first impression is a really good one. So outside of landscape, we talk about curb appeal. If you have the numbers painted on the curb, right, your house number, make sure that's nice and clean and it's legible. The front entry as you walk into that doorway, right? Get rid of all the cobwebs and the leaves, right? We know that they kind of accumulate there when the wind blows, but getting all that really cleaned up, wipe down and clean the front door, and probably paint or refinish the front door in most cases.
Yeah, sometimes also redoing the front door handle. Some of those door handles can be old, dated. They can also just be very well used and loved. Also a nice doormat, just a simple $5 doormat. You can find them at Target, you can find them at Hobby Lobby. Something that's just cute and approachable whenever you enter your home.
Yeah, you just want it to feel warm and welcoming from the second they see the photo online until they drive up to the front driveway and then walk in the front door. You want them to really feel like this is going to be a place that they want to be impressed with.
Outdoor living spaces are something that Texans absolutely love, especially here in North Texas. We have some pretty mellow climate when it comes into the fall. And this generally brings about 70 to 90% ROI, return on investment, for your investment into your patio.
Right.
I will say a covered patio is absolutely huge. If you're going to do a covered patio, do something that covers for rain, covers for shade, and is not just a see-through arbor, which those are very beautiful, but very unhelpful in the state of Texas. Other than that, patio furniture, going ahead and extending your concrete patio pad, if that's something that you're wanting to do. These aren't things that we suggest if you're looking to sell your home, but if you live in your home and these are things you want to do, make sure that you're investing your money the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have the funds or you want to put in that fireplace or fire pit, those usually have really good returns as well. Same with that mounted outdoor TV. If the fireplace is outside of your budget, you can do a really nice propane fire table. Just something, again, they look really nice in photos. It feels very warm and welcoming, especially during those fall and winter months when people are shopping for homes.
Yeah.
And the budget, like we said, it can be kind of expensive to build or add on that outdoor patio, but using what you have and making it look comfortable and welcoming and, like someplace you would want to hang out and invite people over.
Well, yeah, and if adding a concrete pad is really out of the budget, think about pavers. Pavers are a cheaper option, and they can basically get you exactly what you want with a concrete pad.
Yeah, and if you're just trying to stick with what you have and make it look a little bit nicer, honestly, you can paint concrete. You can do a really nice, inexpensive outdoor rug. Costco and Amazon are both great places to find those. Not expensive outdoor furniture, but something that looks nice, right? Get on Facebook Marketplace, things like that. Just getting those little pieces that, again, make it feel welcoming and comfortable. Next on the list, we have flooring upgrades. So I'm gonna say the one thing that we hear more often than not is that people do not want carpet.
Absolutely. That's something, especially with dogs or pets in general,
Pets,
and
kids.
children. It's the hardest thing to clean. It's not very, it gets dirty very easily,
Right.
and it's really hard whenever you sell. People have to take on your carpet. So if you're going to go ahead and replace those floors, go ahead and do an LVP, do a nice hand scraped hardwood, maybe if you don't have big dogs, and just do something that's easy to clean for future buyers as well.
Yeah, and we see the tile, right? The wood look tile, something like that. Something that still feels warm and homey in those main living areas, but is also really durable. You mentioned the luxury vinyl plank. We're seeing that in a lot of homes. There's different levels to that luxury vinyl plank. If you're on a budget, that's okay. You can do a budget project depending on the home value that you're working with, but also there is a much higher end, different quality. So really looking at what is going to hold up and what is going to be affordable. We do usually get about 75 to 80% back on new flooring, depending on what we're comparing to, right? If nobody else in the neighborhood has done this yet and you're the one making the first move, you're going to get some really good benefit out of that. If you're just trying to keep up with everyone else, that's okay too, because you're still going to increase your property value by adding this new update so that that new buyer doesn't have to come in and, drop a little cash on the first day.
Yeah. Next, we have kitchen updates. These are absolutely huge in Texas. People generally in the state of Texas love a big open kitchen, something that is very warm and inviting, light wood cabinets, quartz countertops, generally white, bright, and airy, but not too white that it feels stale and hospital-like.
Yeah, there's a really happy medium in getting warm and welcoming and modern feeling.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think one of the things that is missed, a lot of people will change out their countertops and then leave the backsplash. While it may slightly complement each other, it is usually pretty obvious.
Yeah.
The types of tiles or the style of the tile on the backsplash will usually give it away immediately, even if the color tones work okay. So I do always recommend, probably 99% of the time, if somebody's going to do this, they're probably gonna have to do the backsplash as well. So make sure that you take that into account when you're budgeting for the kitchen. Depending on the appliances, high-end appliances are very sought after, but that doesn't work for every single home. You can upgrade your property.
Yeah, and if you over upgrade, you're not going to see the same ROI, and that's something that you need to take into consideration. All of the nice high-end appliances may not actually reflect in your sales price, depending on the kind of price range of your home, the neighborhood, and the comps and stuff like that.
Yeah, and if you're one of those people that you literally do stay in your house 20, 30 years, do what you want, right?
Yeah.
Upgrade it to your heart's desire. You should love it and live in it. But if you are somebody that knows you're gonna be there maybe 5 to 10 years max, definitely reach out to us, right? We're always happy to give you some comps, let you know what your neighborhood is doing, and help you spend kind of the right amount of money to bring it up to date, but not over upgrade for your neighborhood.
Yeah.
All right, we get asked quite a bit about energy efficiency type upgrades. Things like new windows, HVAC units, insulation, things kind of all across the board. I would say that while you will get a return on your money, these are things that are not as visible to the consumer.
Absolutely. If your windows are broken though, and these are things that are going to come up in an inspection report, absolutely spend that money if you need to ahead of time. Go ahead and budget for that. but it's not something, unless you go from white to black and it's a huge change and the house is just absolutely beautiful on the outside now, it's not something a lot of people notice right away.
Right. And again, this is one of those things, if you're going to be in the house another 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and your windows definitely need to be replaced, old broken seals, they just don't look good, right? They're really no longer energy efficient. You're going to notice a pretty significant decrease usually in your electric bills just by increasing that energy efficiency in the windows. So you should gain some benefit to that. And it is a benefit to the next buyer as you get rid of the home.
Yeah, and that's same goes for the HVAC system. If your HVAC is going out and it's 25 years old, you've really taken the life out of it.
It's the end of the life.
It's the end of the life. That's more than most people get. I will say that there are a lot of HVAC systems that are a lot more smart and techy that also are a lot more energy efficient. They go ahead and cool your home. They dehumidify. They kind of take away a lot of the energy usage that the old HVAC systems used to have. So that can save you money in the long term too. But again, that's something that's going to come up on an inspection report. So if you know that that AC unit is really hurting or it's out, it should be something that you want to kind of invest that money in.
Yeah, and most of the homes now have some kind of smart device that's running our HVAC systems. So if you do not have that, that might be your first step, is really just upgrading those thermostats or some smart systems within the home. Keeping lights turned off when you're not using them, making sure that the HVAC isn't running at the highest speed all day when nobody's at home. So having some of those things in place will help mitigate without having to take that next step of replacing big systems.
Bathroom remodels are our next one that have a pretty good return on your investment. If you're thinking about upgrading, there's some great options such as changing that shower tub combo into just a shower. Frameless glass is something that always looks fairly luxurious. Sorry, I keep tripping up on my words. Other than that, it would just be replacing countertops. Go ahead and replace that really old toilet. Just kind of bring the bathroom up to speed.
Yeah, the bathroom layouts are really the biggest thing that kind of highlight the age of the home. So if you have the budget to, as you mentioned, take out that bathtub combo or that big kind of blocky freestanding jacuzzi tubs, we're seeing more and more consumers not care about a bathtub in that primary space. So making that shower much bigger where you have a little more space, you're not kind of in that corner, coffin thing, trying to turn around, especially for your husband if he's 6'4" or taller, right?
Yes. Home shopping is very interesting with a very tall husband. Make sure that you're taking that in consideration when you redo your shower.
And I will say something I saw recently, and I see this pretty often, where somebody comes in and they start the bathroom remodel, right? They replace the countertops. Maybe they've even taken out the tub and done a nice, Hollywood freestanding tub, painted the cabinets, but they don't touch the shower. And that shower still has this corner box with that, that gross glass on the shower door, right? Like the fog glass.
Yeah.
It's a huge impact on the value of the home because everything that you did spend money on almost completely loses its value for the consumer.
Well, and if that buyer wants to take out that shower, they're now going to redo all of that tile and that bathtub and all of the things surrounding it because you can't just pull one thing out. So just take that into consideration and think about, if you're not going to be there for 30 years, think about what the next buyer might prefer, but kind of keep your style as well. You don't want to get away from that and then absolutely hate your home. So something to take into consideration.
All right, next up, we want to talk about functional spaces. We see these in modern Texas homes, right? Mud rooms, laundry rooms, that are a little bit bigger, or pantries that are full walk-in pantries, things like this. So while you may not be able to completely redesign the size of the space, it is a really good idea to at least make the space feel welcoming and cute, right?
Yeah. No, if somebody, I feel like the theme right now is that you want to make all of these useful spaces pretty, and you want people to be able to walk in and be like, wow, your laundry room is so beautiful. Like anybody's going to go in your laundry room. But having that extra space to fold, going ahead and putting in hanging racks so that you can hang up and dry clothes, I feel like that's always very useful. Just making your spaces more functional but also beautiful, I think, is something that a lot of buyers right now are looking for.
Yeah, something I've started seeing in the older pantries to make them more functional is like the racks that pull out almost like a drawer. So it makes it a lot easier to keep things organized, right? The family hopefully puts stuff back where they belong. And it's just that feeling of organization. I think that's probably what we're seeing more of than full remodels in those spaces. Is it just feeling a little more welcoming, a little more organized, and making those spaces feel a little more useful. So while I don't know that you're gonna get dollar for dollar out of this, it's kind of like that front drive-up curb appeal where it's just that pop, right? It feels fun, it feels welcoming, it feels a little more luxurious to have those spaces finished out. So it definitely draws more attention, and it makes that, the right buyer goes, wow, I don't have to do anything in this house.
Yeah, and if you have just a little bit of money and you can't go ahead and rebuild your entire laundry room, paint it, put a wallpaper up, something that makes it cute so that people are like, wow, that laundry room was so cute, even if it's not the most functional space.
Yeah, and even like you said, adding that shelf or adding that drying rack, something cute to put the laundry detergent in. It's just those little touches that make a home feel staged, but you can live in it when it feels staged. It's just cute and functional.
Next, we have smart home features. This is something that I do think is very helpful. It's also not going to bring a ton of return on your investment, but it's something that a lot of buyers are looking for if the home is not brand new. Brand new homes they do have all of these smart home features. So it's something that especially younger buyers are looking for, kind of that smart thermostat, maybe some security cameras, a Ring doorbell, something that you're leaving behind that does bring value to them, but it's not necessarily going to bring value to your equity and to your sales price.
Yeah, again, I think it's that functionality. So you can do things like the Alexa light switches or plugs or light bulbs so that things are set on timers, right? We have a lamp in my kitchen that comes on every evening at 6 p.m. and it goes off at midnight, I believe. Yeah. And it's just a cute little feature that when you walk in, the kitchen's not completely dark. Same thing when you're showing, right? They're not always going to walk in and the house is going to have all the lights on. They're going to walk in and it needs to feel welcoming. So having those little touches of a lamp that's automatically going to come on or go off can be really helpful. And these things are not super expensive. And when we're in Texas, we have to talk about roof and foundation, our structural systems.
Yeah, these are things that nobody wants to talk about. They're usually very big ticket items and things that you may not even know are an issue in your home.
Absolutely. So number one, we're going to talk about roof. While it is frustrating that after every major storm, if it's high wind or hail, you do need to have your roof checked out. That is generally free by a reputable roofer in your community. Go do some Google research, get on Facebook, find out who people love, get somebody really reputable up on your roof. You do not want that to start leaking, and it can definitely surprise you. You can have a brand new roof, get one good storm in the first few months, and you can have missing shingles.
Oh yeah, I had a friend recently that they closed on their house, and within 6 weeks they had leaks in their ceiling. So it's something you want to be aware of, and it's something that is going to show up in an inspection report when you go to sell. So if you see these things happening, take care of them as soon as possible so you don't have long-term damage. And although you're not going to see $30,000 return on your investment necessarily when you're buying a new roof, you are going to be able to comp with your neighbors because you don't have an issue with your roof.
Well, in fact, most buyers, I can say our buyers personally, we would recommend that they not move forward with a purchase if the roof needs to be replaced and it is showing up as major issues in the inspection. It needs to go on the current owner's insurance policy. So even though we know you don't want to spend the money on that roof, paying to have those little maintenance things done along, all throughout the year as needed is going to be way more cost effective than having to replace that roof, which is usually going to be a 1% to 2% deductible on your insurance policy. And you can expect to do that every 2 to 5 years in Texas, depending on the storms that we have and how well you maintain that roof and what level of shingle you have on. There's a whole multitude of things, but it's definitely something you need to be aware of. The other thing is foundation.
Yeah, usually these can be felt, and the second you feel them, you should get them looked at. But if this is something that you've been putting off for 10 years and it's causing a huge issue with the property, this is going to be something that you are definitely going to either have to lower the price of the home or pay for the repairs to be done prior to listing.
Yeah, absolutely. And having a really reputable engineering company to fix or at least give you the information on whether you need foundation repair is going to be very important, because making sure that you have a lifetime warranty that you can pass to the next owner is going to be very, very important if you do have to have foundation work done. So just again, keep in mind, different parts of our Metroplex have more foundation issues than others. And new engineering, we're seeing less and less of this over time because we have learned to really engineer these slabs in the proper way. They do soil testing, but it's something you should definitely be aware of, because that movement, even the cosmetics of it, will definitely make buyers, take a pause and want more information.
Absolutely. Our bonus tip for you today are the things that you think might add significant value to your home, but are actually just a waste of money in the state of Texas.
Yeah, and we have a few that we're pretty passionate about.
This first one, if I see a garage that is turned into a room, it drives me crazy, because in Texas we have hailstorms And where am I supposed to park my car if now grandma lives in the garage? You know, it's just one of those things that it might be helpful for you now, but resale in the future, it's not generally a great return on your investment in Texas.
Yeah, we do see this in older homes quite a bit, that really they had to have a way to add square footage. We even see them occasionally where they will convert the garage and then add an additional garage space if possible. Those things can be considered, but it's not something that we generally recommend. If you have attic space that maybe can be finished out, or sometimes above a garage can be added onto, those are things you might consider outside of a garage conversion. Gosh, the other one that really gets us is solar panels.
Yeah, solar panels are really tough. It's one of those things that, yes, it might bring you more cost-efficient utilities, but at the end of the day, if you are leasing these systems, this is going to hurt you in the end. It's something you need to plan to pay off before you sell your home.
Absolutely. It has actually stopped the sale of homes where the buyer had all of their, funding, everything was ready to go, mortgage approval, and the solar company would not approve them to take over the payments of the solar panels. So if you are looking at a home that has solar panels, you want to make sure that you ask these questions up front. Are they paid off? What's going to happen? All of this good stuff. The other thing that happens with solar panels is we do have a lot of wind and hail damage in Texas. And every time those panels have to come off for the roofs to be repaired or replaced, they have to be professionally put back on. It is not free. It is not cheap. So
I also want to note that people who sell solar will tell you that their solar panels are 100% hail proof. That is absolutely not true. Maybe their product is, definitely research, but we have seen lots and lots of solar panels be shattered by hail. So it's just something you have to consider.
Yeah, and like anything else that pops up that becomes kind of a trend, a sales trend, we are seeing so many solar companies that are no longer in business. So people have, maybe been paying on their panels and then suddenly they have no warranty left, or they're kind of just stuck with them and something's wrong. They just have no recourse.
So definitely, if you're looking into it and it's something that you absolutely want to do, at least look for a reputable company and make sure to plan that off before you sell your home, so that it does not prevent you from selling your home in the future.
Yes. And the other few things that we don't see that often, but we kind of mentioned briefly, was really like over upgrading the home.
Yeah, that Taj Mahal countertop that you fell in love with at the slab yard is probably not going to bring you value in a $400,000 home. Now, if you're upgrading a home and it's $3 million, sure, do all of the luxury upgrades. But in a home that is a mid-price $400,000 to $800,000, don't do over luxurious upgrades. It's just not going to bring you as much value.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes those can have a lot of movement in that granite or that quartz, and it turns off a lot of buyers because it does feel too busy, even if it's beautiful. So again, those are things that we always tell our personal clients. Reach out to us anytime. Let us be a resource. Let us run comps for you. Let us show you what your neighbors are doing, because what you think they're doing and what is actually happening, or what you think they sold their house for and what they actually sold it for, is pretty often two different things.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about what you should upgrade with your certain budget, or what would bring you the most value in your home, let us know. Go ahead and comment down below, subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, and we will see you guys next Friday.
Bye, guys.